So, as many of you will be aware, Tucker Carlson, who's becoming a ringleader for what's termed the woke right, the isolationist, very hostile to Israel and Israel-American relationships, and really pandering to people with anti-Jewish prejudices, which of course he will flatly deny and say, I'm just asking questions, blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, I do feel the need to have to raise this and talk about this issue. Spoke about it with Glenn Beck in an interview a few days ago where he spoke about the rise of anti-Semitism on the conservative right in America. Something I didn't predict. I never thought would happen. I always thought that there's so much alignment, and there should be a lot of alignment between Israel and conservative values. And by the way, many people are super pro-Israel on the conservative American side. And I really want to stress that. But there is this divide, and there are people like Tucker Carlson and others who have huge platforms, and people will say, why are you platforming them? Why are you mentioning what he's saying? Why are you referencing it? This guy is, crazy. Because he has a huge platform. And to bury our heads in the sand and say, no, it's not, it's irrelevant. I don't think that's a good approach. I think we have to, I have to hopefully give you and others the ammunition and seek the ammunition to respond to the lies and nonsense of the kind of things he and others say. And I'm going to do that. And we're actually getting Josh Hammer on JTV tomorrow, who debated Dave Smith at the Turning Point event about Israel. So do let me know if you have any particular questions or comments that you think would be good for me to ask Josh. But I want to talk about Tucker, and particularly his obsession with this idea that Israel has a disproportionate influence on American politics and AIPAC and all the rest of it. It's such a classic anti-Jewish trope, and for anyone that tries to say, "Oh no, it's just asking legitimate questions," you first of all need to appreciate that literally the history of the Jewish people's persecution is one of them being accused of having disproportionate, almost metaphysical, magical powers that control everything. This goes back millennia. Okay, so just appreciate that before you get into whether or not what Tucker Carlson is saying is fair or not. He talks about Israel lobbying and Israel dictating things. No mention, no talk at all of the influence of other countries who some suggest he's been bought by or influenced by with money, like Qatar and other countries. And I say let's look at it objectively. Let's analyze objectively whether this is the case. I want to first read to you a great tweet from a Twitter handle, Defiantly Free. Well, they said as follows: Josh Hammer did so well that the moderator needed to step in and help the other guy, when I know the moderator knows damn well that Israel is not slaughtering babies for sport. He's talking about Dave Smith. You can hate Israel, you can hate Jews, you can hate Trump. That's your problem, not mine. But we have an epidemic of people who hate the truth. People who are spending all their time on things they know aren't actual issues, and I want to know why. For example, Israel has a nuke. They're so upset that Israel has a nuclear bomb. Why don't they admit it? First of all, it's the worst kept secret anyway. What do they care? Israel has a nuke, this account says. If they wanted to slaughter people, if they wanted to conquer land, they would do it. They dug up their dead when they left Gaza to the Palestinians, and despite being given over $40 billion in humanitarian aid, Hamas was elected, aid was diverted, rockets and tunnels were built, and their people suffered while the leaders of Hamas live in mansions in Doha, Qatar. Those are facts. Let's talk about AIPAC. AIPAC makes up 1% of lobby money and 5% of all PAC money. There's plenty of other super nefarious anti-American foreign lobbies out there that do a lot more damage. AIPAC is simply American citizens saying, I put a premium on the America-Israel relationship. Aid to Israel makes up less than 5% of the total foreign aid budget. And by the way, what America gets, I don't feel I need to advocate for America supporting Israel. I want to see Israel sovereign. I think America loses out if they don't support Israel, both on a political level, but also on a moral and spiritual level. But that's a topic for another time. That's actually something I want to talk to Josh about. But they benefit so much from their relationship with Israel. Security and intelligence sharing, Israel acting as a representative of their interests in a region that is probably the most hostile to America in the world. Israel isn't putting $6 billion into our universities to indoctrinate American children. Other countries are. Israel isn't running campaigns online to destroy this country, America. China is, Iran is, and Russia is. Israel isn't paying for anti-America protests on our streets or pushing open borders. People I used to think were smart have let most ridiculous and easily debunked nonsense become the main issue instead of all the real issues. And I refuse to believe it's because they don't know any better. Russia, Iran, and China don't support Republicans over Democrats or vice versa. They support chaos, division, and destabilization. They will target whoever they need to in order to accomplish that. And instead of discussing this, not to mention all the other things we could be discussing, I'm watching conservative media personalities help push this entire movement off a cliff. And I'll be honest, I can't for the life of me understand why. You really want to tell me that the entire right woke up one day and decided the source of all our problems is Israel? If that's true, we deserve to lose because we are not serious people. And if that's not the case, then what the heck is going on? I want to show you a clip that also further debunks Tucker Carlson's not just nonsense and lies about Israel, but his hypocrisy. This is from Shai Lebrecht. Have a watch. She's great.
Tucker Carlson, we see your obsession with singling out the Jews and accusing Jews of disloyalty, being less loyal than regular Americans. But we are not the ones that are amplifying the propaganda of the Islamic Republic of Iran in an interview. That was you. We are not the one that took money from the Qatari kingdom in exchange for a softball interview of the king. That was you. We are not the ones that traveled to Russia to parrot Kremlin propaganda while Russia actively fights America. No, that was you. While you, Tucker, are amplifying and supporting America's enemies, Jews fight in the US military, actively support the country and its economy, and are dedicated to American ideals and values. You, Tucker, are the disloyal one. You have been bought and paid for by American enemies. It seems that in your last attempt at relevance, you honor the time-long tradition of vilifying the Jews. Shame on you. Tucker.
It's such a good point as well because, Tucker would say, and I think he said in his speech, that, you're either loyal to America or another country. And first of all, we see him parroting anti-American lines and giving credence to anti-American regimes. But let's just say you are pro-American and pro-Israel. If you feel, which I think you can make the strongest case for, that at least for now, these two countries' values are very much aligned, and that's why you support both and feel loyal to both. I think I don't understand the issue here. He said you can only be loyal to one wife or one spouse. Again, I don't understand this. People can be loyal to many people, all of which they share common values and goals. It's like, I'm loyal to my spouse, I'm loyal to my child, I'm loyal to, a friend, I'm loyal to... There can be plenty of people where there's no contradiction in your loyalties and values. And I also would say, and this does get into a deeper issue of, what if there are times where it genuinely isn't of America's political net benefit to be helping Israel with something? I may well accept that. There may well be times where it's not clear that it benefits America, and politically it might make sense for them not to be involved in supporting Israel. This is where I also say and believe that there is a spiritual and moral component to all of this, which is that coming to Israel's aid. And if you believe, as I do, that Israel have had throughout history and continue to have a destined divine mission, then I think it's really your loss if you don't want to be involved in assisting Israel in sustaining, maintaining their sovereignty in their Holy Land. But that's a much deeper topic for another time. But as I say, I think that's only a hypothetical issue, because actually the strategic interests of America align massively with supporting Israel. But we are seeing this, as the Twitter account said, this irrationality, obsession with Israel. Someone, I don't know if you saw this, hacked into Elmo's account, saying that they wanted to murder all Jews, kill all Jews. Now, it looks like it was a hack, and there were other things that were said on this account that I've decided I don't want to actually show you because of expletives and whatever, but it says, Elmo says all Jews should die, F Jews, Donald Trump is Netanyahu's puppet because he is in the Epstein files. They control the world, need to be exterminated. And release the files, Donald Trump, because they're now pushing this narrative that Israel is basically responsible for worldwide pedophilia and child rings, and they don't have the evidence to support that, and also it's such a broad, generalized statement. I say, even regardless of what Jeffrey Epstein did or didn't do, why are you now applying that to Israel and Israelis and Jews? The irrationality that was raised earlier is precisely because it's not about an issue of intelligence or rationality. I'm reminded of the sobering fact that half the Nazis that were, I think, put on trial at Nuremberg had PhDs, I think. Or maybe it was sat around the Wannsee conference, can't remember. But the point is, Germany was the height of civilized modern European society in the 1930s and 40s, and yet they had this deep obsession with destroying the Jews. And the point is that it touches on something much deeper. This obsession with Jews, this belief that they are controlling the world at a, supernatural level. This is as old as time. And the reason, I believe, is that it can't be explained through rationality and intelligence, as we're seeing clearly here. What's going on is a deeper supernatural phenomenon, which is that the Jews have a divine spiritual mission to bring the voice and the light of God and God's vision for the world that he wants into this world. They were charged with that mission at Mount Sinai. And as the Talmud so clearly says, Sinah began at Sinai. Sinah means hatred. It's a sort of play on words that they're doing. Sinah means hatred in Hebrew, and they're saying it began at Sinai, the hatred towards the Jews, because it's that resentment of that divine destined mission. For whatever the reason may be, whatever the resentment may be, it may come down to jealousy, it may come down to resentment at the moral responsibility that God now demands of us, that the Jews are charged with representing. Either way, that's how you explain this obsession. It's spiritual. But ultimately, it is ungodly. And that's the key point here. People like Tucker and others, all the jihadists, claim to be wanting to fight for God and godly and divine values. They need to understand that God describes himself as the God of Israel. I'm so excited to share with you something that I've been working on for a while. We've just taken JTV content to the next level. Introducing JTV Plus, a new platform streaming exclusive content created and handpicked by me. Get ready for jaw-dropping documentaries, exclusive interviews, insider access, and so much more. JTV Plus brings you captivating stories that will shock and inspire you. Stories that, honestly, I'm discovering for the first time too. From Israel to Jewish history to Judaism, it's all there. In exclusive interviews, you'll hear guests open up about things they've never shared publicly before. Plus, I'll take you behind the scenes where I get a lot more personal with you. By joining JTV Plus, you're not just joining an exclusive community, you're partnering with me to help JTV reach new heights. Just search j-tv.plus and join our exclusive community today. There's a link in the video description. I'll see you there.